Good morning, church, and welcome to Monday Morning Musings for July the 4th. I'm David, and I'm one of the pastors at Community Christian Church at Carillon. And first, I want to begin with a most sincere and heartfelt Happy Independence Day. Now, I know that in some circles it has become unfashionable to celebrate the founding of the United States. There are those who seem to think that the creation of this country was, all in all, a bad thing. Simply put, such people are fools. They know nothing of history and even less of human nature, and every time they open their mouths, they prove their total ignorance. Pay no attention to them. In fact, let me give you a bit of poetic wisdom my dad once recited to me. He who knows and knows he knows is wise. Follow him. He who knows not and knows he knows not is a child. Teach him. He who knows but knows not he knows is asleep. Awaken him. But he who knows not and knows not he knows not is a fool. Shun him. Enough. I'll waste no more time on such people. Over the last couple of weeks, we've wandered into strange territory. First, with the idea that one simply cannot prove the existence of God, because God transcends all of our regular tools for understanding things, our logic and our deduction. But that hasn't stopped folks from trying to logically prove God. And so last week I spoke about one of the better attempts to do that. The argument that at the beginning of the chain of events that make up this cause and effect world we live in, there must be something uncaused, something that started it all. Personally, I kind of like that one. It's persuasive to me, but it isn't proof, not in the way we usually define proof. So how do we proceed? How do we justify our own decision to believe? What do we tell those who want to know that there's a God, who want to know what he's like? What do we present as our evidence? I would suggest that the answer lies in the fact that God, if he exists, is not a mere fact, not a thing, but a being, a person, if you like. And the way to determine the existence of a person, the way to know the nature of a person, is simple. Ask him. Ask God if he is real. Ask God to reveal himself to you. That's so fundamental, so simple, it almost sounds silly. But think about it. God wants us to know him. He delights in relationships with us. It is his heart's desire to reveal himself to us. How can there be any doubt that if we ask him to, he will give us that experience? I am totally convinced that anyone who sincerely prays, God, if you are real, make yourself real to me, will have that prayer answered. Not with an equation, not with an algorithm, but with an encounter. Such a seeker will find God, not through deduction, but through the experience of God's presence. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. Experience is the pathway that God himself has created to bridge the gap between the limits of our reason and the beginning of our faith. I sought God for decades with logic and reason, the tools that had always worked so well for me in other areas, and I failed. But then came the evening in which I realized that God had already established a way to find him, that he had already laid out a path by which I could begin to know him, that to meet God, all I had to do was meet God. And that evening I knelt at the foot of my bed and tried his method. I prayed. wasn't a good prayer. I didn't really know how to pray. I started out praying, God, I don't even know if you're real. And I went from there. Now, I don't remember a lot of what happened during the half hour or so of seeking the Lord on His terms instead of my own. But I do know this. When I knelt down that evening, I did not believe. And when I got up, I did. God cannot be deduced, but He can certainly be experienced. If there is someone in your life who wants to believe but just can't, I highly recommend to them that they just knock and let the Lord open the door. God bless you all.